Hello, I'm the Deaf Geek. This retro review is for She-Hulk's Attorney at Law. Episode 9. Whose show is this? In the previous episode, Jennifer Walters lost her temper and destroyed property while she was in public view. She was put in jail as she was considered a danger to society. Meanwhile, Jennifer's colleagues investigate to figure out who spread the lies about her. They focused on identifying who wanted revenge against Jennifer. Their investigation brings them to a Todd Phelps. He was the weird tech billionaire whom Jennifer, as She-Hulk, dated. He's the one who set up the website and adopted the moniker Hulk King. Coincidentally, Jennifer decides to head to Emil Blonsky's retreat. While she's seeking relief, Todd Phelps happens to be hosting a conference there. The conference is full of angry incels whining about She-Hulk. She arrives at the conference, as does a whole bunch of other characters, which leads to an utterly chaotic season finale.
Yeah, come at me, bro!
Surprise, losers.
I'm out of here, man.
Come on, Titania too? This isn't messy enough?
God, does that bitch ever use a door?
You.
Jen, watch out!
Oh, get her!
Bruce?
Let go of my cousin, asshole. It's not what you think. Is this necessary?
To be honest, I wasn't sure where to put this segment. However, I did feel it was important to discuss this particular scene. We see the accumulation of everything here. This is the conclusion of the investigation regarding the gossip website. Meanwhile, we see the result of Todd Phelps's plan to steal Jennifer's blood. This results in Todd becoming a Hulk too. This conference is full of incels whining about how She-Hulk didn't earn anything. Then suddenly Titania is there for some reason. Then suddenly Bruce Banner is there, and people are just popping up. All the while Jennifer's pointing out how utterly nonsense everything is. I felt part of the whole "now everybody shows up" stuff was a bit outlandish. However, it's clear that this insanity was deliberate. This was done partly to mock the MCU's, and comic movies, tendency to pull everything together in the finale, whether it made narrative sense or not. So even though I was a bit unsure, I decided to use this as my good. I appreciated the show's point regarding the MCU formula. They put the clichés under the spotlight for the audience to look at.
Jen, I could use a full counsel here.
Welcome to my life.
Hey, everyone. So, hold on.
Cousin, Bruce.
I know I've been away on Sakar for a while. I'll tell you all about it. But first, I have someone here that I'd like you all to meet. This is my son, Scar.
I chose this awkward family dinner scene. After watching this, I now understand why the producers of Daredevil Born Again decided to ignore She-Hulk and pretend it didn't happen. Matt Murdock acted wildly out of character in this segment. We also saw the surprise revelation that Hulk now has a son. I felt that it was too significant moment to play up as a gag in a law comedy show. This ending just felt iffy for me. Yeah, I get the meta-commentary, but this ending fell flat for me. It just didn't work for me, so that's why it's my bad.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? This menu is not gonna stop me. I'm just gonna break this inhibitor real quick. All right, let's see here. No, yeah, no. Ah, Marvel assembled. That'll do.
This what segment takes place right after my good segment. When all of the characters are popping up, Jennifer's like, "Whoa, time out!" She then literally breaks through the fourth wall, climbing onto the TV screen. It's the Disney Plus screen, which she then navigates to a behind-the-scenes feature. This entire sequence was just incredibly wacky. It was quite a meta sequence and absolutely shattered the fourth wall. We also saw the She-Hulk writing team discussing their story ideas and plans. It was amusing, but also very confusing.
People like Todd Phelps have to be held responsible for their actions. The message we're sending is that if you attack, harm, or harass innocent people, I'm coming for you.
Do you mean in a courtroom or as a superhero?
Both.
Now tell our viewers.
Here are my thoughts about this final episode of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This episode was quite surreal, and frankly, a bit disorienting. The whole thing was quite a trip, with all its meta-references. However, I did find it to be a unique and delightful experience. The different plot threads were wrapped up well. And then it was comics accurate, with the fourth wall breaking to critique the industry. The audience, the writers, the cast, no one was spared. However, it was a bit of a surreal trip to keep up with. That's not to say that this twist came out of the blue. There were definite hints about who was behind the stealing blood scheme. In hindsight, I do see where the clues were placed, so it makes sense. This season did have a cohesive narrative. That's not to say that this show didn't have its oddball moments. In the final run, I was entertained. My rating for this episode, episode number 9, is a 7 out of 10.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is known for its big spectacles and high-stakes plot lines, but it's often said that Marvel movies all end the same way.
Wait, who's saying that?
Perhaps this is a result of following some unwritten rule that you have to throw a bunch of plot and flash and a whole blood thing that seems super suspiciously close to super soldier serum at the audience in the climax.
Here are my thoughts about the entire season of She-Hulk. This season was hit and miss, but overall was decent. There were some aspects that were cringe. There was some minor pacing issues, particularly the 2 episodes in the middle. Trimming this season down to 6 episodes might have worked a little bit better. That would have tightened up the pace a tad bit, but well. Sometimes that's just how a series goes. I did feel like the TV show was a bit too self-congratulatory. It was a bit too proud about itself and how clever or meta it came off as. It was a bit over the line. Well, it didn't cross the line, but it was a bit too much. It was a bit annoying. However, the general reaction of the fan base in their hatred of this show was overblown. The TV show certainly preemptively identified many of the issues that the angry white men fans would have overreactions about. Those fans really despised the message that She-Hulk was sending them. Based on the internet chatter, I was expecting the worst TV show in history. But ultimately, this show was merely okay, not to mention comics accurate. In some of the characters' portrayals were a bit off, but that's similar to the comics. Guest stars in She-Hulk often didn't quite match the personas from their books. Overall, I think this show achieved its purpose. It wasn't the best nor the worst. However, I can't say I'm too surprised it didn't get a second season. It wasn't good enough to warrant a second season, so well, my rating for this entire season of She-Hulk, and just like the episode rating, it's a 7 out of 10. It wasn't spectacular, but it did its job. This is the Deaf Geek. I hope you enjoyed my retro reviews of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Thanks for watching.